How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 104, Vettori vs. Dolidze 2 on March 15th, 2025. Timestamps in the comments below. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 13. We start with Juneisy Duben versus Carli Judice. I'm going to go with Carli Judice on this one. Carli Judice. I do believe that she is going to be able to win a decision over Juneisy Duben. Juneisy Duben, undefeated WMMA fighter, very rare. I know Carli Judice's record is dog shit. It is 3-2. If she loses, she will be 3-3 inside the UFC, which, that's gross, right? Juneisy Duben is the girl who got the crazy-ass knockout on the Contender Series over Shannon Clark, I believe is her name, some big, muscly flyweight. Besides that win, and she's very subpar on the feet, Shannon Clark, Juneisy, all of her fights are against, debuting athletes. You look at her typology page, you see just a bunch of debuting fighters who either just haven't fought since then, or have done nothing but lose as well. She's kind of a can crusher. You know, the Shannon Clark win, decent, right? I know Shannon Clark's kind of a can crusher in her own right. Carli Judice is, like, her record is very shit. We look at it. She has fought actual, like, good competition that have made it to the UFC. Ernesto Cortes-Acosta is in the UFC. She's 1-1. She arguably beat Dion Barbosa as well, so she arguably could be 2-0. Carli Judice also fought Gabriela Fernandez, who, ding ding ding, knocked out Wang Kong, and she was able to eat everything that Gabriela had for her inside of 3 rounds and actually won the striking exchanges later as the fight went on because her gas tank is that good. Carli Judice can push a pace. She throws like fucking 70 strikes a round. She pushes a pace on people. Juneisy, kind of wild, a little like over the top with a lot of her strikes. Carli Judice, a little bit more well-mannered, if you will. I think Carli Judice will be able to keep it technical and crisp, like her nickname, to win a unanimous decision. We move to Josiane Nunes versus Priscila Cachoeira. I'm going to go with Josiane Nunes. 2 favorites in a row, I know. 2 women's fights in a row, I know. I think Josiane Nunes is just clinically and more technically sound than Priscila Cachoeira. Priscila is not great. She's got, like, really heavy hands. That's basically it. She's like an Ariane Carnelossi, but, like, taller type build. Josiane Nunes is very small for bantamweight, but she's actually, like, unorthodoxly fast. Like, she's very, like, weirdly quick on the feet, and that's something Priscila Cachoeira, I think, is going to really struggle with. She's able to get outboxed by Jasmine Jasudavicius, and Jasmine is very slow. You know, Josiane, she is smaller. She is a small bantamweight, but she is very fast, and I've seen her make it competitive with other girls that are bigger and better than Priscila Cachoeira. I know Chelsea Chandler is kind of like a meme, but she is a better fighter than Priscila Cachoeira and can get it to where can get the fight to where Josiane struggles. Jacqueline Cavalcanti is a very good women's bantamweight, and you know Josiane made it to a split decision, even though I thought it was very clearly Jacqueline's fight. It seems like the judges love Josiane Nunes, which is another reason why I think that she can beat Priscila. Priscila eats 7 shots per minute. I know most of that is like inflated due to ground and pound and whatever, but she is like very defensively shit. And Priscilla is slower as well for a striker. So I think Josiane Nunes can take a shot. You know, I think she can roll with a lot. She hits decently harder herself. I think that she's probably going to TKO Priscila Cachoeira in like the 2nd round. We move to Daniel Barez versus André Lima. I'll go with André Lima. I think André Lima, again, I just really believe that he is a better mixed martial artist than Daniel. Don't get me wrong, Daniel does hit really fucking hard for a flyweight for absolutely no reason. He has, like, insane pop in his hands. I just think that he's a little too wild. And I think it's going to eventually lead to him getting caught and maybe finished. Because André Lima is, for one, he's very defensively sound. He keeps his hands up pretty well. He rolls with a lot of stuff. That's what Victor Altamirano did not do. He was very loosey-goosey on the feet, kind of kept his hands away from his face, got dropped like twice for it, right? Daniel Barez, he'll fucking swing, though, dude. He will literally, from his hip, arm fully extended, just throw hooks at people. He's kind of a bullier. And he's not a bullier, he's like a bully, and so is André Lima. And I really think that whoever wins this fight, it's going to be existentially based on who is the bully in this scenario. I favor André Lima. I think his pressure is just a little bit better than Daniel because he isn't in your face. He's at a range to where he can land his low kicks, land his straight left, but he's enough distance away that you have to leap out at him and kind of put yourself in unfavorable positions, which Daniel Barez does. He will leap at people, and André Lima has good counter-striking ability. I really loved Andre's work against Felipe Dos Santos. Also, the grappling might also play a part, because we saw when Daniel fought Jafel Filo, he kind of crumbled when he got taken down. And André Lima has underrated controlling skills when it comes to the grappling and wrestling department. We saw that against Felipe Dos Santos. He's also pretty strong, and I love his work of, his resume so far. Igor Severino, underrated, and I will say that till I die. He's an underrated MMA fighter. André Lima was making it was like slightly competitive, but you could tell André Lima was hitting harder. And that's another thing. André Lima has underrated power. He does hit decently hard, and he's super technical when it comes to that side of things. So I will favor André Lima in this fight. I believe that Daniel Barez will start off really hot again, kind of ease his way into the fight again. André Lima will start to pick up at the end of round 1. Leading into round 2, the momentum's going to shift, and I think Daniel Barez is going to get a little desperate, run right into a left straight, possibly get finished against the fence. I just think André Lima wins anyways. We move to Stephanie Luciano versus Sam Hughes. Another one? Alright, I'll go with Stephanie Luciano. Honestly, Sam Hughes could be a good underdog pick here because it does seem like a fight that she definitely can win. I think Stephanie Luciano has the cardio and pace to match that of Sam Hughes, which is why Sam Hughes is able to beat a lot of these up-and-coming people. She does well against a lot of fighters because she has great cardio and a good pace. Like, she kind of bullies people down the stretch. And she's got somewhat decent boxing. Stephanie's a big gal, and she has good cardio as well. And she controls the cage very well. She's improved her takedown defense heavily. Sam Hughes, she likes to impose her will in the clinch. Going for takedowns, kind of like marabbing people a little bit, but like way worse, you know what I mean? I think Stephanie Luciano, she uses range very well with her 1s and 2s, kind of just throws it out there. And Sam Hughes, she can kind of get hit with the ends of jabs and straights pretty often, I will say. I think also age, Stephanie, getting that win against Talita Alencar after having the draw in the first fight, which she started to beat the ever-living shit out of her in the 3rd round. She's big for the division. And, Sam Hughes beat Victoria Dudikova. What even is Victoria Dudikova anymore? You know what I mean? Before that, she got beat by Yasmin Jauregui. I've seen, two butch-looking broads fucking chin her. You know what I mean? Sam Hughes couldn't even hurt her. So Sam Hughes probably doesn't have a lot of pop. All right, Stephanie Luciano, I think she does have a little bit. Improved takedown defense. I think she's going to walk down Sam Hughes, win a unanimous decision, 29-28. They'll look for any reason. Not look for any reason, but Sam Hughes might make some of the rounds close. Maybe it's a split. Who fucking knows? We move to Carlos Vera versus Josias Musasa. I'm going to go with Josias Musasa by 2nd round TKO. Carlos Vera is dog shit. I don't even really think I need to say more. Carlos Vera, Ryan Hall student, kind of just like allows himself to be controlled using BJJ on the feet. All he throws is like body kicks, head kicks, spinning wheel kicks, all slow and out of range. Either way out of range or way into range where he can allow himself to get taken down. Josias, coming off the Contender Series, fought a undefeated Georgian fighter who was 9-0. I think it was, how was his name? Was it Technikov or something? Technikikov or something? I don't know. Some wild last name. And he beat him. It was a close fight, competitive fight, and he got taken down in moments. But on the feet, Josias hits very hard, presses the fight. Carlos is going to be shooting. I can't pick him to win this fight because I don't think he's good at all. So, yeah. We move to SuYoung You versus AJ Cunningham. We go with SuYoung You. Probably by sub. SuYoung You is got great grappling ability. We've seen that from the road to UFC and also his debut against Barrigang Judice, but also his striking took a strong forefront in the two later rounds, in rounds 2 and 3. He didn't really shoot takedowns. He kind of just stood up with him and was able to outstrike him in moments. AJ Cunningham, he falls over kind of easy. Like, if somebody catches his kick, he's most likely going down. He presents his back a lot. When he's getting up, he'll do anything to get up. He's one of these guys, never give up, believe in your dreams, I'm one of these guys. Yeah, I'm 0-1 in the UFC, I got fucked up by Stephen Wynn on the Contender Series, but I got signed because they need American guys. Yeah, fuck yeah. I think that SuYoung You is going to choke this fucking goober out. AJ Cunningham on the feet, kind of like bread and butter, kind of striking, very rudimentary, throws a lot of kicks, body and head. He'll throw jabs here and there, they're kind of slow. He slows down pretty easily as well, and he leaves his chin on a silver platter. I think that AJ Cunningham just isn't that great. Honestly, this card is filled with a lot of guys that just aren't that good. All right, so AJ Cunningham, he's going to be way bigger than SuYoung You, but I think SuYoung You is, actually strong. And if you watch some of his regional fights, he is a dominant force on the ground and can grapple for days without getting tired. And AJ Cunningham doesn't really strike me as a guy with insanely good takedown defense. I've seen in the Ludwig Klein fight that he kind of, if you can catch wrestle him very easily. So I'll go with SuYoung You by first or second round submission. Probably going to be a rear naked choke when AJ Cunningham's trying to get up. He'll present his back. SuYoung You will jump on it, latch up a rear naked, lights out in the apex. We move to the featured prelim. Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ryan Spann. I'll go with Ryan. I'm going to go with Ryan Spann on this one. Underdog pick. I think Ryan Spann can just technically outstrike Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Waldo, I will say, I will say about him is deceptively quick for a heavyweight, because he's kind of seen as this kind of tubby guy. He's actually decently fast. All right, he's actually decently quick for his stature. Ryan Spann is moving up from light heavyweight. He had a solid performance against Ovin St. Preux, OSP, at 307. And he's competitive with, really, solid guys at light heavyweight. He's chinning Dominic Reyes with a jab. He had a competitive decision loss to Anthony Smith. But, when I say that, people are like, oh, it's Anthony Smith. Dude, Waldo Cortes-Acosta is going to, competitive striking decisions with André Arlovsky and fucking Jared Vanderaa, right? He's not that great of a fighter. He just has, a good chin. I think Ryan Spann can technically outstrike him. He's got way longer arms than him. I know it says that he only has a 1-inch reach advantage. You can just see by the photos, it's not a 1-inch reach advantage. Ryan Spann significantly has longer arms. Waldo he already leaps at people. He already throws softball punches. Pitches rather. He's going to be doing that again against Ryan Spann, who is a guy who can punish him for that. Ryan Spann, I will say, he isn't the greatest counter striker, but when you really telegraph, what Dominic Reyes did was really telegraph. He was throwing a 1-2. Waldo telegraphs a lot. If Ryan Spann sees that you're telegraphing, he is going to fucking unload on you, man. And I think that this is a fight that we can see that happen, possibly. I don't know if he chins Waldo, because that's the thing, because we don't know how well Ryan Spann's going to be adjusting. It doesn't really look like he packed on good weight. Honestly, it looks like he kind of just got a little fat and didn't really cut any weight for this fight, which kind of does irk me a little bit. I wish that he would have gotten more into a heavyweight build, kind of because he was kind of built really solid for light heavyweight. He's got a big frame for heavyweight as well. He was huge for light heavyweight. I want to see him get built into this frame, kind of like Kennedy did. Kennedy and Zechikui, he's building into his heavyweight frame as well. I think Ryan Spann can possibly do that. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, like I said, is not my favorite prospect. I don't think he's all that good. I don't think he'll become a top 10 fighter or anything. He does hit hard, but he does telegraph a lot. And he's also been kind of going to close decisions with people. And he's not going to be able to use his wrestling in this fight against Ryan Spann, because Ryan Spann does have good jiu-jitsu and grappling ability. You know, he's scrambling with Nikita Krylov. He's scrambling with other people. I don't think he's going to be able to, like, you know, get Ryan on the ground and control him like he did Robelis to Spain. Like, Ryan Spann's actually, like, a good MMA fighter. So I'll go with Ryan Spann, not Robelis to Spain. Ryan Spann by, I'll go late first, early second round TKO. Fuck it, dude. We move to the start of the main card. SeungWoo Choi versus Kevin Vallejos. I'll go with Kevin Vallejos by first round KO. SeungWoo Choi can definitely cause some, like, problems, like, slightly early on due to his length and just overall size. Kind of like Cam Teague was able to do against Kevin Vallejos, kind of try and walk him down a little bit, use his length. Kevin's a bastard. Man, he's a bitch to deal with. Looking back, even at the John Silva fight, man, this dude will walk you down and just throw. And he has, you can just see the improvement from the John fight, you know, in like 2023 to now. Or was it 2022? Probably 2022, wasn't it? Oh, I don't know, actually. To the Cam Teague fight in 2024, vastly improved. Insane improvement for Kevin Vallejos. Picks his shots very well, goes to the body, goes to the head. He rips to the body, great ones and two. I mean, his hooks are incredible. SeungWoo Choi has a decent jab. I really think Kevin Vallejos, he's got very good head movement and pocket boxing. I really think he's going to be able to slip some of those offerings from SeungWoo Choi and hurt him. Dude, because like I said, SeungWoo Choi is not that bad. Like, you look at, like, a Jarno Aaron's fight. You know, he gets dropped in that one, but he also has, like, a decent comeback in that one. He drops Jarno. He just doesn't have a chin. His chin just isn't that great, especially considering it's featherweight. And Kevin Vallejos hits pretty hard. He's able to back up John Silva. I can't imagine what he's going to be able to do against SeungWoo Choi. So I'll go Kevin Vallejos, first round KO. It's going to be one of those ones where SeungWoo Choi, doing well early, landed his jab, backing Kevin up. Kevin's going to land one combination. SeungWoo Choi is going to get a little stirry, kind of get a little squirrely in there, start throwing wild-ass hooks like he did against Steve Garcia, against Jarno Aaron's, where he just was like, ugh. Michael Trezano also comes to mind, and then he just gets cracked, and he can't back it up, so he gets dropped, finished with some ground and pound. Kevin Vallejos, lock it in. Probably going to be a confident pick. We move to Diyar Nurgozhay versus Brendson Ribeiro. I'll go with Diyar on this one. I'm not going to say his last name again. This is a tricky one. I think Diyar for some reason is a huge favorite. This is genuinely tricky. Brendson is crazy long for light heavyweight, pause. Got insanely long arms, hits hard on his own. It's one of those things where I think he's just a little bit, he gets chinned quite a bit, you know what I mean? 3 losses by knockout. And I'm looking at a fight like Brendson Ribeiro against Caio Machado. I'm looking at, you know, Magomed Gajiasulov. Kicks work very well against him if you set them up well. Magomed Gajiasulov, for example, didn't really set up his low kicks as well as he should have and got his leg kick checked. Or did he get kicked in the leg? And then I forget, but one of those things. I think Diyar Nurgozhay, you know, he's one of these guys that it's going to be an open stance fight, just like the Caio Machado fight. Brendson, the lead hand fight's going to be there. I think Brendson Ribeiro, he doesn't utilize his range well enough. You know, he's not like peppering people up with jabs. He's like kind of like lunging at people in moments. And I don't think that really suits him. I'm seeing him lean into head kicks, and that's exactly what Diyar landed against the Polish dude on the Contender Series. He sets up his head kicks because he almost like Darren Tills himself in a way where he only is like throwing a straight left hand, and then he'll throw a head kick. You know what I mean? And then you're trying to slip it, try and land a thing of your own, and you lean right into a head kick. That's exactly what happened to Homeboy. I think we're going to see a similar thing. We almost saw that happen to him against Caio Machado a couple times. And Diyar sets up his shots very well. I imagine this fight's going to be a kind of lower volume striking bout, you know, for the first probably 3.5 minutes. Maybe it goes to the second. Both are going to be landing shots. Diyar is going to be trying to chew up the lead leg with low inside low kicks. I don't know why I said low so many times there. Brendson is going to try and land his straight shots. That's where his bread and butter really is those straight punches. After the Ming Yang Zhang fight, I don't expect him to be as wild as he was. You know what I mean? He was going to be trying, keep it a little more concise, you know what I mean? But Diyar, he's also one of those guys that tries to keep it concise, and he's kind of clean with his boxing. He does leave his hands kind of low, but I think he's got a decent enough chin. I'll go Diyar, Nurgozhay by either, I think I'll go second round KO. I think Brendson Ribeiro he'll keep his distance, a safe amount of distance as the fight goes on. He'll kind of get a little too comfortable, and he'll leave himself open to some shots. I think he'll lean into a head kick and get knocked the fuck out by Diyar. So, yeah, Diyar Nurgozhay. We move to Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson. I'll go with Damon Blackshear by... I'll go second round submission. I couldn't decide whether or not first or second. Cody Gibson, honestly, 3-5 in the UFC, 37 years old. He's big for the division, though, and he's kind of underrated a little bit for his ability to mix it up decently well. The problem is he's going against Damon Blackshear, who is one of the only guys in the entire division who can not only match his size, but also match his ability to mix it up decently well. Damon Blackshear, crazy good grappling. If you guys remember, he's one of the only, I think he's one of 3 people in the entirety of the UFC to have a twister submission. He got it over Jose Johnson. Not that crazy, but, still got a twister. And, his striking isn't that bad. People will watch the Montel Jackson clip over and over again and swear up and down this dude's striking is dog shit. And then he has a fucking beautiful performance against Cody Stamann, which is mostly due to the striking. He landed a crazy flying knee, followed up with some beautiful shots, and then he controlled them easily on the ground. Cody Gibson's going to be a little slower than Damon, which that's the reason why Montel Jackson had so much. I mean, it was 17 seconds, so it's not really a lot of success. He had the most success you can have. Is because he's very fast. Damon Blackshear, ever since then, I mean, he's only had one fight since then. You can see he's kind of trying to stay out of range, try and be more safe with his entries, because he did kind of enter in like a bonehead against Montel Jackson. Cody Gibson will kind of try and walk you down, and I think this is going to be a very big fight based on grappling credentials. And if Cody Gibson tries to impose his will, I've seen Damon Blackshear be able to have good scrambles and actually arguably beat Mario Bautista on a week's notice. So that's very impressive. I'm seeing him, beat Cody Stamann in the first round. That's not something everybody does. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people can say that they've done that. I think the only person that can say that is, I think Aljo also dusted him in the first round. Damon, powerful on the feet, quick on the feet. He's going to be a little quicker than Cody Gibson. In the grappling department, Cody might be a little stronger, but I think Damon Blackshear is a little bit more technical, and he also isn't that much weaker. So he's kind of strong himself. I'll go Damon Blackshear, second round submission. I think it'll be one of those things where Cody Gibson might be getting hurt a little bit on the feet, kind of getting out-tagged, he's outworked, outclassed on the feet. Not it's mostly due to the speed is why he'd be getting outclassed. Kind of goes for some lousy takedown attempts, and then gets reversed, and then kind of gives up his neck in a weird position, possibly arm triangle or rear naked choke. But Damon Blackshear, let's go, Damon. Come on, win this for me, bud. We move to the featured fight, Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh. I'll go with Alexander Hernandez. Kurt Holobaugh is old, not great. It's essentially it. I think I could probably end it here, but I'll go on. Kurt Holobaugh, he needs to be able to bully people in a fight. He puts a lot of pressure on people, which honestly, in a very dumb way, could work against Alexander Hernandez. But I don't think it will, because Kurt Holobaugh does leave too many openings on the feet for my liking against a guy like Alexander Hernandez, who does have a lot of pop. Kurt Holobaugh, this is the second guy in a row that Alexander's fight. Dude, he fought fucking Hubbard last time out. What the fuck? You know what I mean? He had a close fight with Hubbard. That was at Salt Lake City. Elevation. Alexander's always been kind of noted for having kind of weird cardio. But, you know, he did beat Austin Hubbard. He beat Jim Miller. You know, he's kind of improving his cardio in a sense. And I'm seeing this guy, Kurt Hollabaugh, just stink it up against Kainan Khrushchevsky. You know, he's not good. He's not a good fighter, man. Kurt Hollabaugh really wants to bully you and impose his will in the clinch. Alexander's strong. He's not going to allow that to happen. Kurt Hollabaugh is just going to be running at him, walking at him with his hands by his tits. And he's going to be trying to lean back and fucking, and then trying to fucking throw a big old schmeedy hook. Alexander's going to be able to pepper him up. Kurt Hollabaugh telegraphs a lot of his striking opportunities. I think Alexander Hernandez either beats him 29-28 by decision, outdamage him in rounds 1 and 2, narrowly surviving the third, possibly late, or he starches this guy out fucking cold. I can't pick Kurt Hollabaugh in the big 25 just because I think it's illegal. He's 38, 2-5 in the UFC. I think that I've seen him, honestly, Alexander might be able to wrestle fuck this dude if he wanted. He might be able to. Kurt Hollabaugh's wrestling defense and overall get-ups are pretty dog shit, and Alexander is pretty strong. So either Alexander controls him easily, which we did see him kind of get some takedown opportunities. He is a strong fella on the ground, or he starches him out cold, or he just outdamages him. I think he's just a better fighter overall. So, yep. We move to the co-main event of the evening: Chidi Njokuani versus Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. I'm gonna go with Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. I was kind of fucking pondering back and forth in my mind whether or not I'd pick Chidi, because he does have a crazy size advantage over, you know, Easy DS. But I do believe that Elizeu is going to catch him at one point. I think it just is destiny for him to. Chidi recently, especially recently, has really been relying on his clinch game at welterweight. Against Rhys McKee, he heavily used it. Against Jared Gooden, he almost only used that. And on the feet, he's kind of become, you know, he's still very dangerous. Don't get me wrong, very dangerous, Chidi Njokuani, very. But he's kind of become like a AI Leon Edwards kind of figure where he's trying to be super technical, doesn't throw a lot, only throws perfect technique stuff, doesn't really want to get down and dirty outside of the clinch. In the clinch, he'll fucking throw body knees like a motherfucker, but I don't think Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos is a guy that can really get held against the fence all that easily. He's kind of strong in his own right and can grapple, and he's very strong. And I'm just seeing Elizeu landing these right hands over the top. He's very powerful, very explosive. I'm looking at tape against Chidi Njokuani. If you can push a pace to him, he breaks very easily. And we haven't seen it yet at welterweight because no one's really brought a pace to him. You know what I mean? Like Mikhail Alekseychuk brought a pace to him in the first round and he cracked. Gregory Rodriguez, he hurt Gregory really bad, but then he cracked because he started getting walked down. Elizeu, he's going to have to deal with the reach disadvantage in this fight, which Chidi does use well. But he does also kind of just shell up when things are being thrown at him. He doesn't really counter-strike all that well. And Elizeu, if he drops you, he most likely finds the finish. And I'm seeing Chidi kind of absorb a lot of right overhands, just kind of settle for low kicking at range and kind of Adesanya game planning himself. I think that's going to turn out really bad against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. I think Chidi's going to win a lot of the exchanges early. Kind of like I said, calf kick at range, kind of calf kick, jab, feint a jab, possibly like throw a knee up the middle. Elizeu's kind of be dancing out of range, trying to figure out what can land, what can, and then over time his right hand's going to come closer and closer and closer, and eventually just boom, it's going to land and Chidi's going to fall down, and I think Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos is going to win by knockout. And I'll say the second round, it could happen in I'll go third, actually. I think Chidi might be able to survive the second. The third round, I think with the pace, Elizeu can maybe push on him, even if he hurts him earlier in the fight as well. I think that Alizio might be able to finish him in the third round. We move to the main event of the evening. Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze Dos. That's 2 for you non-Spanish fucks. I think I'm going to go with Roman. In a funny way, I really think that he can win this fight. It is like, you look at the first fight, Roman took that on I think like a week or two notice. Had a very competitive fight with Marvin. Won the first round. After that, kind of slowed down the output. I think Roman in this fight is going to change the game plan a little bit. In a 5-round fight, I think Roman Dolidze will really strive to try and actually implement grappling into his game, like he did against Nasruddin Imavov. You look at what he was able to do in certain clinch moments where he's able to hold Nasruddin against the cage. I know Marvin's very strong, but he's not like crazy big. Like Roman's bigger than Marvin is. It is one of those things where Marvin tries to be too technical for his own good. You know what I mean? And he tries to really roll with shots, and he's not really all that good. So he actually like either under rolls or over rolls. He doesn't time it correctly, so he does get hit still. He is a little bit more technical on the feet than Roman, but he hasn't like fought at all since then. He's fought one time, and it was a couple months later in June in 2023. We're coming up on almost 2-year hiatus for Marvin Vettori. I don't know if that's the longest break he's had without a fight. I think it most likely is. But man, he doesn't fight. He hasn't fought in a while. He's been injured a couple times. Roman Dolidze kind of been on a roll since then. He had the little hiccup against Nasruddin Imavov directly after. But since then, Anthony Smith, up a weight class, is able to bulldoze and control a bigger, stronger Anthony Smith, let alone not as technical as Marvin, but able to control him nonetheless and actually outstrike him. Kevin Holland, you see what happens when he uses his grappling. I know that he got injured, right? But Roman Dolidze got into very dominant positions against Kevin Holland. He did way better in the grappling than Marvin Vettori did against Kevin Holland. I think if Roman Dolidze really locks in for this fight, instead of wasting a lot of energy trying to knock out Marvin, because I don't think Marvin's going to get shinned. I think Roman will just slightly outdamage him in moments, have a very rough 4th and 5th round. I think that Roman Dolidze can definitely do just enough to scrape by with like a 48-47 win. Nasruddin Imavov really attacked the body in their fight, and that's something that not a lot of people talked about when Roman Dolidze with his cardio. Because he did have decent cardio against Marvin. He did slow down egregiously, but not as much as he did against Nasruddin. Nasruddin was really digging to the body in their fight with teeps kicks, body kicks, just in general going to the body. Marvin Vettori is strictly a headhunter. And it's one of those things where he's technical but not. And I think Roman Dolidze, he hits hard. Marvin's coming off a fight where he got hurt a lot by Jared, hurt basically every round besides, I think, the first, which is where he did a lot of damage. I really think Marvin Vettori, 2 years off, coming back in there against a guy that he already fought. He's going to have a full camp this time, Roman Dolidze, in this sense. I think Roman Dolidze is going to do enough to get it done. And it's probably going to be very ugly, probably not a great watch if it happens the way that I think it will. I think Roman Dolidze will try to implement more clinch exchanges in this fight, try to actually implement his world star grappling, and Marvin Vettori will just be like a little step behind. I think that it's going to take a round or maybe even a round and a half, maybe 2 for him to really find his footing in there and be able to land the straight shots he was able to in the first fight, which is what essentially won him that fight, was his straight shots. Roman Dolidze, I think he's going to be a bit more improved in their first fight. Marvin Vettori doesn't really change a lot. Neither does Roman Dolidze, but I think Roman Dolidze has more room for improvement. Marvin Vettori kind of just stays the same. Roman Dolidze can improve the striking a little bit because it wasn't really the best. He just hits really hard, and he's kind of a dumbhead. He's kind of a dumbass. But Marvin, is already, quote-unquote technical, so I don't think he really thinks he needs to change anything. I think he just thinks, I need to shore up some stuff. Not my striking, my defense just needs a little work. So I'll go Roman Dolidze, decision 48-47. A very ugly fight, but I think Roman will get it done. I'm UFC Thoughts. These are my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 104, Vettori vs. Dolidze 2 on March 15th, 2025. My confident picks reside with André Lima, Josias Musasa, and Kevin Vallejos. My pre-card rating is a 5 out of 10. This card is, I think it's lackluster in name value. I think it has a lot of potential to be fun, but it's just like, it's one of those things where I just don't care about, like, anybody on the card. You know what I mean? Like, who really cares about SeungWoo Choi? Who gives a shit about Brendson Ribeiro? Who cares about fucking Kurt Hall, about Carlos Vera or Cody Gibson? You know what I mean? It's one of those cards where you're like, why the fuck are these guys still here? And they're just fighting up-and-coming killers. So, yeah, I think the main event will probably be stinky. I probably miss. Vettori will probably win somehow. Not somehow, but like, Dolidze's an underdog. He had a competitive first fight. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I recorded this on my new setup. Let me know what you guys think about it. Who do you guys have in the main event? Who do you guys believe are the locks of the card, in your opinion? But, yeah. I'll see you guys after the fights. Peace.